Hi guys, welcome back to Elephants in the Room. My name is Nicole. I'm your host, and if you are new here on this podcast, I believe that vulnerability creates freedom. Vulnerability changed my life, and my hope is that we can talk about and address the elephants in the room, the things that a lot of us go through, but that we don't know how to talk about, we don't know how to really process, and oftentimes the things that we go through and the things that we navigate through in life, a lot of us are going through in our own ways, and I believe that talking about them brings us closer together and also connects us better to ourselves. So, without further ado, oh my goodness, guys, it is the new year. It's 2026. Obviously, I'm filming this before 2026. I'm filming this like a couple days before 2026. I feel like I have granola in my teeth. I just had the yummiest little snack. I had this peanut butter granola, and then I had I cut up bananas in it and a little bit of milk to make like a cereal. And guys, this is like one of my OG snacks from childhood. Like, I used to be LDS, as you guys know, Mormon. And if you grow up in the church and you don't have a lot of money, there's something called the Bishop's Storehouse, and you like pretty much get free food. And one of my favorite foods from the Bishop's Storehouse was the granola. They had this granola that was insane, and I would eat it like a cereal, and it was like my favorite thing. Anyway, so it's very nostalgic. But all that being said, it is 2026 when you're listening to this. I think this episode comes out like the 7th of January. Okay, so we are 1 week into the new year, guys. Okay, this is actually perfect. This is a perfect episode for this. And of course, I feel like I need to do a New Year's episode. Now, what I want this episode to be centered around is the hard lessons that I learned this last year and what I feel like I'm carrying into the new year. So this isn't necessarily about resolutions and a big list of things I'm going to do differently. I think I've kind of moved past that in my life. Like, I feel like I used to be more specific about that stuff. And it's not to say that I'm not going to carry routines and habits into 2026 and make changes, but I think this will more hit on maybe some emotional changes and relationship changes I'll make and kind of deeper changes I'll make. And I'll talk a little bit about habits and all that stuff too, and like things that I want to do this new year. But I really wanted to get vulnerable with you guys and talk about some of the things that I feel like I've really learned this year through going through really hard stuff, and what I feel like it's really taught me. And yeah, as I took time to reflect on this the last couple days, there was one thing specifically that I think stood out to me the most, and probably like the biggest lesson I feel like I learned this year. And that is pushing past my emotional limits isn't loving to anyone. Hi, princess. Oh, wow. Guys, my little Coco, she's really cute. I don't know how I'm a little bit warm, so I don't really want her on me right now, but I don't know how I'm really supposed to say no to her. She's so cute. Anyways, so yeah, pushing past my emotional limits isn't loving. So I think something that happened in multiple different situations and relationships in my life this year is I saw the result of, me pushing past my limits and doing more than I should have, and not taking space when I should have, and not setting boundaries when I should have, and more importantly, not sticking to the boundaries that I should have. And I feel like this is something that I talked with my therapist a lot through, and I kind of talked about this in the last episode that I did about how anger is usually rooted in either like a deep fear or wound that we have, or feeling that we're feeling. It's like a secondary emotion, or rooted in like us allowing our boundaries to be crossed over and over again, and like self-abandoning. And so I think something that I've really had to face this year is that at the beginning of last year, actually almost exactly at the beginning of last year, I started going through some really, really intense family stuff. And it took so much out of me. And in the beginning of the family stuff, like my heart and my desire was to help and to support and to do the noble thing and do the right thing. And I overextended myself in a lot of ways. And with good intention, but also not only did I overextend myself, but because it had to do with my family, it was something that was so deeply emotional for me and so deeply painful because it had to do with my family. And I don't think that I anticipated it being as hard as it was or it going the way that it did. And yeah, I think when I first, like I said, I think initially when we extend ourselves or we try to accommodate or we try to make peace in a relationship or a situation, it's with really good intentions. It's with a loving hand. It's with a helping hand. It's in efforts to help the people that we love or to change the situations that we feel like we can help. And it usually starts off with pure intentions. But the problem is when we start to ignore our own voice and start to push past our own emotional, physical, spiritual limits, and we start giving way too much of ourselves to the point where we start to have bitterness and resentment because we're neglecting our own needs, because we're neglecting our own voice, or because the people or the situation isn't honoring to the boundaries that we set with going into it, we start to crumble. And I think oftentimes we don't realize until a lot later how much it affects us. And for me, I said this in the last episode, but I think I had an idea in mind of how can I help this situation and what can I do and what are my limits? And I feel like I had the knowledge to kind of set those limits and to set those boundaries. And then I did, but then the problem is that life doesn't go as planned. Things never work out the way you think they're going to. And when I hit those limits, instead of taking space and instead of, listening to my own voice, I just kept pushing. I just kept pushing myself. And again, with good intention. But what it resulted in is burnout, emotional burnout, physical burnout. And I wasn't able to show up in that situation or those relationships without some resentment and anger. And until I took space and took time and reassessed and realigned my position, I wasn't able to actually have peace in those relationships and love those people within the relationships and actually start to make changes within them. And so I think I just hit my breaking point. And this has happened in a couple different situations this year for me. And it has very much emotionally affected me, which obviously then physically affects me. And so I think what's hard is that my quote unquote self-love journey that I feel like I've begun as I've started therapy and started uncovering all my childhood trauma wounds and started to try to be a healthier person. I think I realize the older that I get how many more pieces and parts need to be developed. Because it's one thing to believe that you're, worth something. It's another thing to believe that you matter and to have a good self-esteem and to believe in yourself. It's another thing to then understand that if the people in your life around you aren't treating you the way that you ask to be treated, the way that you deserve to be treated, and you're not receiving mutual respect or understanding or love, that you may have to set boundaries and or reposition the way you approach those relationships. That's another thing. And then it's a whole nother thing to set boundaries, ask for what you need, and then when those people don't honor your boundaries or they don't hear you, it's a whole other thing to love yourself enough to walk away from those situations and relationships and or to reassess and reposition how you handle that relationship, which usually causes discomfort, which usually causes conflict. It makes you lose peace. Sometimes it makes you lose respect. It makes people like you less. Sometimes you lose relationships. And I think another thing is that we have to be okay with not being the hero in every story. I think naturally we all want to do the right thing and we all want to overextend ourselves to the people that we love. But sometimes it's not your story to save. Sometimes you can't be the hero. Sometimes you have to save yourself before you can save other people. And even those oftentimes when we're going into these situations and these relationships, trying to overextend ourselves, it comes from a good, pure place. But when we continually don't listen to our own voice and we don't listen to our own emotional limit and we push past it in efforts to love others, it just leads us to self-abandonment, bitterness and resentment, and emotional and physical burnout. And when you are emotionally, physically, and mentally burnt out, you will physically get sick. And when you are emotionally, physically, and mentally burned out, and you're angry and you're bitter and you're resentful, you are not going to be able to show up and love those people the way that you wanted to anyways. And so it's like, if I've learned anything this year, it's that anger and bitterness is it's almost like a warning. It's almost like your body's way of trying to communicate with you that something needs to change. And we so often want it to be other people. We want other people to honor our boundaries. We want other people to hear us when we ask for what we need. We want other people to consider us the way that we consider them. But sometimes that just doesn't happen. And we are responsible to do what we want others to do. Listen to our own voice. Honor our own boundaries. And even sometimes love ourselves enough to take space or to walk away from something that is killing you slowly. So that is a huge lesson that I feel like I've learned this year. And to the contrary of what I feel like I have been programmed to believe from all the unhealthy dynamics that I grew up in my life, when you actually take space or reposition yourself in a relationship, when you've hit your emotional limit, you're burnt out, your boundaries aren't being honored. I know it sounds crazy, guys, but sometimes things actually change for the better. And it's because you change your position. And there's something so powerful I've learned about not waiting for others to hear you, not waiting for others to listen to you, not waiting for others to honor or respect your boundaries, but doing it for you. You'd be shocked by how much relief that causes within you to where you can actually still show up in that relationship or situation, even if the other person isn't necessarily doing all the things that you wish they would do. Like, you are able to show up better. You are able to show up with more realistic expectations. You are able to have more bandwidth for those situations. I feel like when you sometimes just take space. Sometimes you just need like a week. Sometimes you just need a minute. Sometimes you just need to say, hey, I can't help you right now. I just need a minute. We'll come back to this. Or, hey, this is my limit. I've reached my limit and you're not honoring my limit. And I love you, but I've got to honor my limit. So until you're ready, like, I will be here once you're ready to honor this. And also, not to say that we should wait for other people to change or to hear us or to try to honor a certain boundary we've set. But I will say I feel like sometimes when you really actually follow through on your end of the deal and on your end of like the boundary that you set, you'd be shocked by how eventually that actually can lead to the other person doing the thing that you have been hoping they would do, or honoring the boundary that you were hoping they would honor, or treating you the way that you were hoping they would treat you. You'd be shocked. But it's not always immediate. And I think, this kind of goes into my next peace. Which, like I said, kind of ties into everything we just said. But before I go there, just to close out this first kind of piece or thing that I feel like I've learned is, just ignoring my own needs and voice leads to resentment and anger. When I don't listen to myself, I can't show up the way I want to in relationships. Real love includes honoring my limits too. And so to go into this next thing, boundaries require follow through. Learning how to set boundaries doesn't mean much if I don't honor them. When boundaries are crossed and I don't change my position, I contribute to my own discomfort. Okay. Like I said, I feel like I have started a lot of my self-love journey in my life through all the work that I've done. And I'm really proud of myself for how far I've come. But I think that I've realized this year, like, okay, I've learned how to value myself. I've learned how to communicate my needs. I've learned how to speak up for myself. I've learned this. I've learned that. I've even learned how to set boundaries. It's like a buzzword. I say that word a lot because boundaries changed my life. But do you know what I realized? One of the things I really, really struggle with is following through on my boundaries. When I set a boundary with someone, it's really, really easy for me to feel empowered and to feel, a confidence in knowing that I respect and love myself enough to ask and communicate what I need, especially if someone or something is hurting me. And I set a boundary with good intentions, but unfortunately, I don't follow through on it. So when I set a boundary with someone, oftentimes I allow them to just bulldoze the boundary. And then I think, well, okay. They hear me though. They hear me. They're going to hear me. Like, I just need to wait. They're going to hear my boundary. They're going to hear it. And then I let them cross it again and again. And guess what? I teach that person that they don't actually need to honor my boundary, because behavior is a language, and I'm teaching them, hey, you don't actually have to listen to me. You don't actually have to hear what I'm asking you for. You don't actually have to honor this, because I'm not going to change my position or change the way our relationship looks, even when you cross that boundary. So I'm pretty much giving this person the authority to continue to cross that boundary. And every time that boundary is crossed, more trust is broken. And not only that, but I feel smaller and smaller. I feel like my voice doesn't matter. And that leads me to then feel resentful, to feel angry, to feel bitter, to feel taken advantage of, to feel betrayed, to feel, not valued. When I had to accept, oh, wait, Nicole, if I'm setting a boundary with someone, I have to follow through on it. And if I don't, then my discomfort in that relationship is just as much my fault as it is the other person. Matter of fact, it's my fault. Because I can't change people. I can't change the way that people treat me. But what can I change? My position. And that's what boundaries are all about. It's about you. It's not about forcing someone else to change. It's not about forcing someone else to do what you want them to do. It's about knowing what you will and won't tolerate for yourself, and the respect that you would like to have, and the care and the consideration. And if someone doesn't follow through on it, it's not to say you can't have grace and patience, but you need to reposition and or show up with less of yourself in the relationship, give a little less in the relationship, a little less space or a little less time, a little less vulnerability, whatever it is, remove some of the access, not to punish that person, but to protect yourself. Like, that's what a boundary is for, is to protect yourself, because you want to show up healthy in the relationship. And in order to show up healthy in the relationship, you have to have certain needs and or things respected and whatever. You know what I mean? You need things to be a certain way to be able to show up in that relationship and not be angry or resentful or bitter, and to be loving and to be patient and to be kind. So I think this year I've realized that not in all situations in my life, but I would say specifically in close relationships in my life, especially with family, or even friends or anything, like it's easy when you really love people to excuse them not honoring your boundary and just continue to let them do it. And then you get mad at them when really you need to be mad at yourself, because you're the one who's not changing your position. You're the one who's continuing to give them the access to hurt you in the way that boundary being crossed hurts you, because you don't change your position in the relationship. You don't take space in the relationship. You don't remove certain access in the relationship when that boundary is crossed, if that makes sense. And again, it's not about a punishment. There's all these buzzwords like boundaries and this and that, but like really, guys, like I just mean, let's say someone in a relationship doesn't listen to a boundary that you set many, many times. It's like at some point you're going to have to either take space from the relationship or the situation, or maybe change a certain way that you show up in the relationship or how much you give to the relationship, whether that's emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, whatever it is. Like you will have to change something in order to not have that boundary be crossed again, if that makes sense. And again, I encourage you guys, like, oh my goodness, I so encourage you guys. If you do anything in this new year, try therapy. I know not all therapists are amazing, but genuinely, even especially this year, I feel like therapy has done so much good for me. I see an individual therapist. I also see a couples therapist, and I recommend it times a million. It's the best thing. And it really helps me continue to learn and grow and become the healthiest version of myself. And that's what I want to be, because I want to be a healthy, loving, partner, future wife, sister, mother, like friend. And it's so worth it. So worth it. So if you want to learn more about boundaries, go, look up a TED Talk, or maybe not a TED Talk, but like someone who is certified and or has the schooling or knowledge specifically around it. Go look it up. If you can talk to a therapist about it, talk to therapists about it. Boundaries are so important, but also following through on them is important. So yeah, I think just accepting that the pain that comes with someone bulldozing your boundary oftentimes has more to do with you not honoring and listening to yourself and self-abandoning to continue to be able to be in that relationship or situation, and not rock the boat or like cause contention, So yeah, those are definitely like I would say the two biggest things that I've learned this year. Okay, the next thing, which again, I kind of talked about this, not kind of, I did talk about this in the last episode. And it is letting myself feel what's under the anger. Anger is a secondary emotion. Anger pointing to fear, grief, unmet needs, or crossed boundaries, allowing emotions to resurface without shame, and feeling emotions instead of suppressing them. I talked a lot about this last episode, so I don't want to bore you on this specific point, because many of you have probably heard that episode. But yeah, I think I realized this year I was in a lot of situations and relationships that I was like self-abandoning and overextending myself. And I think that built up a lot of anger and resentment. And there's a reason that we overextend ourselves. And yes, part of it is pure and good, but also part of it is rooted in fear sometimes, or shame or guilt. And so I think learning how to uncover what was underneath that anger for me was really huge. And like, for an example, I think I realized and I talked a little bit about this on one of the episodes, but like with my parents, for example, I feel like I've had more of a relationship with them the last year than I have in a long time. And in a lot of ways, that's been amazing. And I love them. And my mom has made so much progress, and I'm so proud of her. And we'll talk more about that soon. Actually, I have a special episode coming. But with that being said, I think having and developing a deeper relationship with my mom this year has also made me have a lot of grief around wishing that I would have had a relationship with her like that in the past. And also, I think the grief of feeling like I'm angry that I've never had a parent that's taken care of me. I feel like I've always had to take care of them. And like that resulted in a lot of anger and bitterness. And I feel like until I was able to really get to the root of that and feel that deep wound I had, I wasn't able to show up in the relationship with her as freely. Like, I feel like I can love her better now because I have validated that pain within me and seen it and let it be known by myself and by like my therapist and partner and stuff, which has actually helped me release it and grieve it and then move forward. And so I think, just understanding the anger is a secondary emotion and getting down to the root. Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit more fun ones. Those ones are a little heavy, but the next thing is time isn't wasted, it's invested. Temporary relief versus long-term fulfillment. Distinguishing between rest and numbing, being intentional with where time goes. I hate to admit it, but I have wasted so much time this year on my phone. I hate it. I hate to even admit that. Doing nothing but scrolling and numbing. Okay. And I think I have had to numb myself a lot this year because I've been dealing with a lot of these really heavy, intense things. And so I've been so emotionally, mentally numb. And so it's been so easy to just distract myself by the quick dopamine hits. And I'm honestly embarrassed to even think about the time that I've spent wasted on my phone. When, again, there's not that there's anything wrong with the fact that I was burnt out. There's not that there's anything wrong with the fact that I needed rest and I was seeking relief. It's that I wish I would have spent that time doing things that actually gave me relief. Like scrolling on my phone, it gives me temporary relief for a couple minutes, but it hurts my head. It makes me anxious. Like it doesn't actually lead to anything good. And if I needed rest, I wish I would have done more things that actually bring rest. So I think there's such an important distinction between like doing restful activities and even slow things like cooking or, certain hobbies or crafts, painting, reading a book. Some people could look at those things and say you're wasting your time because those things take a lot of time. And, it's not like, unless you're an artist, it's not like you're going to get anything out of painting or drawing or whatever it may be. But those things I do not think are a waste of time because those things help us regulate. Those things connect us to ourselves and to others. Those things bring, I think, more passion within us than we realize. So it's not to say that I think we should live life in a rush and only doing the things that are going to make a difference in our life. No, I think do the mundane things, cook the meals, organize the pantries, read the books, paint the art, color in the coloring books. Like those are all so good. But scrolling on your phone, it doesn't connect you to yourself or really bring you relief or rest. So I wish that I would have spent more time doing things that actually gave me relief rather than doing something that was this fake version of relief and or comfort, because being on my phone honestly only made me anxious and it only makes me compare myself and all of the things. Okay. So, I think this new year, I really want to be so intentional with where time goes. And yeah, that leads me into my next point, which is like distraction is stealing more than we think. Phone use and constant stimulation, starting and ending the day distracted, reclaiming attention and presence. Guys, on this note, something I've been using this year, and this is not an ad, but it's something I like genuinely am obsessed with. I got it actually like a few months ago, and then I used it and then I stopped using it because I was traveling a lot. But the last maybe 4 weeks or so, I've been using it very consistently. And guys, it is legitimately like changed my life. Okay. So I have this thing called the brick, which I've actually talked about like I think a while ago when I first heard about it. And it's this little device that clicks to your fridge, and you set certain timers and limits within your phone for certain social media apps or any apps that distract you. So for me, all social media apps. And you can set timers and or like times in the day where you can or you can't use your phone. And the only way to get into your phone when your phone is bricked, which is what they call it, is to tap the brick physically. Like you have to tap it, okay? So it's not like a little app that you can put a password into to get back on to your phone. You have to physically tap the brick. And so guys, when I tell you, I've set a very strict timer on my phone. I think I am able to use my phone for a little bit. I had it from like 12 to 8 p.m. in the day. And then now I have it from 6 to 9 p.m. is the only time I'm able to use social media apps. So in the morning it's bricked, in the night it's bricked. And guys, this is the only thing that I've ever done that's actually helped my phone addiction. And it's actually changed my life. Like when I tell you, waking up in the morning without being able to get on your phone, it changes everything. It changes how intentional you are with your time. And going to bed without being able to get on your phone, it's the best. It's helped me be way more consistent with reading my Bible. It's helped me be way more consistent with my morning routine. And the best part about it is that when you start doing it, like you don't realize how much you naturally just try to get on your phone. And then once you have the app, like I can show you guys, it literally, like right now I'm bricked. So you see TikTok on there. It will not let me get on TikTok. So when I click on it, it says you've turned TikTok off, get back to living. And you'd be shocked because you start to realize how much you naturally try to get on your phone. And secondly, once you aren't able to get that dopamine hit or that access as quickly, you honestly forget about it. So I like when I used to have it bricked until noon, I would just not unbrick it. Like I would go through the whole day because I just wouldn't think about it. Like once I didn't get on my phone in the morning, it's almost like I just didn't have a desire to get on it. And I would go about my day. I would go to the store or go to Pilates or do this. And then you're out and about and you don't have the brick, so you can't unbrick it. And it's just the best thing ever, okay? So reclaim attention and presence. Our phones are like one of the best things, and they connect us, and there's so many cool things that our phones do, but they're also one of the biggest distractions, and I feel like one of the things that hold us back the most. And so I have just loved it. It's been the best, and that kind of, you know, like I said, brings me into that point of like being really intentional with where my time goes. Like things that connect me to myself and to others are not a waste of time, and I don't need to rush through them. But there are things that are doing me no favors. And it's not to say that I can't use them or do them in moderation, but I don't want to waste my life scrolling on my phone. I just don't. And so this year, I want to be really, really committed to trying to stick to that routine on brick or whatever routine I find that will give me my life back and give me my time back. So, and then the next one, is investing in yourself is the highest ROI. So I think, again, I have been into like health and fitness and, all that kind of stuff. And obviously I go to therapy for a long time, but I feel like, there's a lot of little things that I used to feel like were a waste of time, that I now just don't believe that. Like therapy, movement, routine, self-care. They all are so important. It is crazy how much better you can show up in your work, in your relationships, in your life when you feel good. And when your health is good, you feel good. And when, for me, what I've realized, which I used to think was vain, but I don't think it's vain anymore, when you look good, you feel good. And so when I'm taking care of myself, and when I'm going to the gym, and when I'm eating healthy and all the things, I usually feel good. And when I feel good, I want to do good. Now, what I will say, I think something that shifted for me this year that I didn't necessarily used to feel like was the importance of self-care and self-exploration. And I specifically mean in regards to just getting ready and our maintenance and different things. Like one thing I've fallen in love with this year is doing my hair. I used to never do my hair. I loved my natural hair. And it's not to say that I don't love my natural hair, but there is something about having a fresh blowout and the way that it makes me feel that I just love. Same thing with getting my nails done. I feel like I've learned to prioritize getting my nails done, throwing on a little bit more makeup. And again, I never really used to wear makeup. I'm not really wearing any right now. I have a tiny bit of mascara on and a tiny bit of blush, but my rash is really bad right now. So I'm letting my rash breathe. But usually I'll put on like a little bit of concealer. And oh my gosh, guys, I have underestimated the importance of those little things. They make me feel good and I like doing them. And I think I used to feel shame and or embarrassment or feel like they were vain, like it's a waste of time to do your makeup, like I don't need to do my makeup to feel good, whatever. And it's like, no, I don't need to do my makeup to feel good. I love myself the way that I am, but it's also okay to love to put on makeup because it makes you feel more confident in your own skin and it makes you feel good. Like there's nothing wrong with it. And it's also fun. It's really fun. And so I think I have started to like actually desire to put more time and energy into that. And I think that all those little things like health and wellness and all the things and reading books and self-help books and therapy and exercise and getting your nails, like all those things actually help me so much to feel my best. And when I feel my best, I want to do my best. So yeah, I think, feeling good is a foundation for healthier relationships and success. Let's see. And, I think, that kind of goes into my next point, which is, don't waste your life not loving yourself. It's crazy because I feel like the older you get, the more that you just realize like your life is so precious and your youth is so precious. And we spend so much of our lives not accepting ourselves and not loving ourselves. And I'm sick of that. I'm sick of critiquing the way that I look. I'm sick of critiquing the things that I can't change about myself. I'm sick of comparing myself to other people. I'm sick of not really leaning into loving myself and being confident within myself and believing that I'm beautiful and believing that I'm worthy and all these different things. And it's like at my core, I think I do believe that, but I think I've built this weird like embarrassment, or I haven't really let myself, like I've held back that feeling in myself. And I feel like I haven't really let myself fully lean into that. And sometimes I feel like it's because it's like cringe. And so I feel like I'm trying to like break out of that. I think, just like really loving myself for who I am and like giving myself the encouragement and love and all the things that I would give to like someone that I love. So yeah, I just feel like it's so easy to tear ourselves apart. It's so easy to hate ourselves. It's so easy to critique the way that we look. It's so easy to wish we looked different and wish we felt different. But like, don't waste your life hating yourself. Do not waste your life hating yourself, especially as a woman. Life goes by way too fast to not accept yourself the way that you are, to not love yourself the way that you are, to not be confident within yourself, to not believe that you're beautiful, to not lean into your beauty, to not really, really, really love who you are. Because if you don't love you, no one else is going to know how to love you. And if you spend your whole life searching for external validation and external love and all these things, it's so fleeting and it's so empty. And we either let what other people think of us define our beauty, or we let what we think of us define our beauty and our worth. And I feel like the older I get, the more I realize, like, why do I beat myself up so much? Why do I critique myself so much? Why can't I just love myself and think that I'm beautiful and think that I'm worthy and all the things? And so I just feel like I'm really trying to let myself do that. And on that note, I think, that just goes into my next point. I think as I get older, a huge reflection that I'm having is, don't wait. Your life is happening now. Waiting for the right moment delays living. Learning to value my passions and dreams. Allowing myself to be confident and proud of who I am and what I want. I think, naturally, I think that I think it's really, really easy for me. I think I've identified that. Again, I feel like I'm just learning how to get into all the deeper levels of self-love. And I've started doing some of them, but I feel like this last year I've realized there's ways I could definitely improve. And I think I have a desire to more than ever as I just get older. But I think it's really, really easy for me to pour into other people and to invest time into other people and to be a cheerleader for other people and to support other people in their dreams and their passions, no matter how crazy they are. Yet I think sometimes it's really hard for me to put myself out there and to do the same thing for myself. I think sometimes doing the things that I want to do, or the ideas that I have, or follow the passions or the dreams that I have, it feels cringy, and it's almost like I believe others can do it but I can't, or I don't want to do it because I don't want to put myself out there, or because I'm uncomfortable with receiving praise or receiving encouragement or really putting myself out there in that way. Like, it's almost like I'd rather just kind of fit in. I'd rather kind of just stay small and kind of do what's safe and not do something that I feel like people could judge me for, or maybe something that I feel like I could fail at. And this year, I am not going to do that anymore. I want to let myself get in front of the cringe feeling, or of the feeling like, they can do that, but I can't do that. And I want to like invest in my passions and my hobbies and my dreams and not feel weird about it or embarrassed about it. Like, I want to feel excited about it. And I don't know why it's so much easier for me to do that for others than it is for myself. I'm not sure why, but I think I really want to learn more confidence in that and grow in that. And I'm excited and really invest time and energy into myself and into the things that I love. And then the last one that I feel like, hard lesson that I feel like I've learned is kind of tapping into my relationship with God. I think I have learned that, number one, which I've talked about before, but like, our relationship with God is two-sided. And if we don't participate, and if we don't open the door, and if we don't let him in and try to connect with him through reading the Bible, praying, worshiping, whatever it is, we're not going to feel his presence and we're not going to hear his voice. And I think that also I've started to really, really understand and see how much habitual small sin grows and how much it actually distances your relationship with God. I don't think necessarily because of him, but I think because of us. And I think that on that same note, though, consistent obedience, I feel like, does bring us closer to him and does help us feel more worthy of his love. Not that we deserve his love, but I think naturally, at least for me, I will like guilt and shame build and I will feel unworthy. And I think when I take a conscious act to try to obey him and to try to listen to his word and to try to give him my time, I hear him so much more. And so I just think that is a hard thing I've had to learn. And I think just reminding myself, I'm not behind, I'm becoming. And so this is all part of my faith journey. And as hard as this year has been on my faith, I think it's part of my story. It's part of my testimony. And there are seasons. And so I think I am just going to this new year, reminding myself how important it is to open that door to him and to really, really try to walk in obedience and try to honor him with my time and give him time. So yeah, that's my last one. I think in general with everything, like all the little things add up, and I think distance and closeness happen gradually. And I think this year, I think intentionality with my time and pouring more into the little things. And I'm really excited this year. Like, one thing I really want to do is I want to explore more of my own style and figure out like what I love to wear and what complements my body the best and what I feel the best in and what makeup I like the most and what products suit my skin the best and all the things, and how to do my hair really cute and wear cute jewelry and pick the health and wellness habits that are important, because there's so many, guys. There's so many things we can do. And I think I've learned I need to simplify it. I need the simple things that I know work for me, that are really good for me. And if I can master those, I can add on all the other little ones, but I don't need to overwhelm myself. I think same thing with just everything. I think quality over quantity for sure. And picking all the things in each bucket of my life that really, really impact and bring me closer to myself and closer to others and to who I want to be and to where I want to go, and really prioritizing those things. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm excited for this new year. I'm really excited for all the things that are to come. I actually recently signed with a new podcast agency, which is really cool. So kind of taking this to the next level for me in my career. And I have so many exciting things I feel like coming this year. And I feel like I'm just looking forward to another year of life. I'm turning 27 and I honestly am excited about it. Like, I don't feel scared to turn 27. I think I'm starting to learn how to just like embrace it and love myself, because life's too short to not. And so I'm excited. I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas, and I hope you guys are having a great first week of the new year. I'm really, really excited, and I'm really, really excited for all the things on this podcast. So this new year, guys, please, please, please tell me what you guys want to hear about, what episodes you'd like me to film. If there's things you want me to talk about, I'm always open to suggestions. You guys can do that. And you guys know, if you'd like to support me, you can follow this podcast on all the social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you can leave me a comment, leave me a review on the podcast. That really helps. You can now actually watch the podcast on Spotify. So if you want to watch it, not on YouTube, you want to like watch it in your car while you're driving and not use as much like data or Wi-Fi or whatever, you can watch Spotify, which I think that's how it works. Like, I think YouTube takes more, but maybe I'm dumb. I don't know. I love you guys so much. And without further ado, I'll close this episode out by saying, what elephants are in your room? My name is Nicole, and I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks.